Welcome to the 19.9 podcast. We're going to do a brand check-in, talk about all things 19.9. I'm back in the studio.
I'm back.
Down in the basement. You're back.
We're both
I know.
back.
You've been the one that's MIA, but I'm back in the studio. That's what I'm talking about.
And have missed you.
We've got the moving box behind you. It's not just a prop. We're going to talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, man.
But I wanted to start just talking about what does this time of the year mean to you? Because growing up, like this time of year was super exciting. We've been talking to the guests that we've had on about what this time of year means, and everybody gets amped about it. You know, no matter what level of basketball you played at, there's just something to be excited about. The NBA kicks off tomorrow. NCAA is coming up. You guys have got something on the way specifically for this time of year. So what's it mean just to you personally?
Yeah, well, like hope springs eternal, right?
Right.
Like because nobody's played a game yet, so everybody wants to see their team or has aspirations that their team's going to do well.
Yep.
And we're just getting to the tipping part, and Midnight Madness was dope. Like growing up,
yeah.
Especially when ESPN started airing it, because I really didn't know anything about it until they started hyping it.
Yeah.
I knew it was the first day of practice, but it didn't have any of the media that it has now.
Yeah.
So, and now with like social media, you can follow all of them and pick up the clips of everything. And it's getting to be basketball season, man. Like the weather's changing. I know it feels like football out there too, but to me it feels like basketball, just the same, like getting in the gym.
That first turn of like the real like crispy cool season feels like ready to get inside.
I'm ready for some cold weather.
Yeah, right.
Walk in with your coats on and
hoodie on.
Yeah, smell the popcorn and like let's get after it. So yeah, we're getting close, man.
What about you? Just growing up, memories of like tryouts this time of year? Do you ever get nervous this time of year, or more excited?
Meyer, you trying to get me in trouble? You know I didn't sweat tryout. I didn't sweat tryouts, man. Are you kidding me? It was like an anxious thing, though. Like you got anxious for it, not nervous.
I mean, not like you weren't gonna make it, but like you wanted to. You got these new skills. Like you're taking a new car out for the first time. Like don't wreck it the very first time out. You know?
Yeah, and seeing who was gonna try out, who was gonna come out.
Yeah,
and
you got to really show out.
That stuff. I remember in high school, you waited for like the football players to come back.
Right.
You didn't have your team until football players came back, and so that always kind of changed the dynamic a little bit. Especially when you were young, you were getting bumped up, and you were playing like varsity and thinking that you were going to get minutes, and you were like one of the five that got called out to walk through offenses and shit. And then the football players came back, you dropped straight back down to JV. I remember that.
Two-way player, put you on that two-way contract.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a quarter left.
Get your hopes up and just smash them. So, but it was fun, man. And I remember we would have practices. We didn't do a Midnight Madness event, but we did some kind of tip-off thing. Yeah. That was a lot of fun that the students came to and all that stuff. And it really wasn't about playing basketball. It was about trying to look pretty out there, which I feel like that is like Midnight Madness now. Right. Just look as pretty as can be.
All it is,
Seriously.
Sell some tickets, right?
Right, exactly.
Okay, I want to start too now by going back, because almost 2 years ago, right around this time, we're a lot more normal. So, I mean, we didn't have all the pandemic, all kinds of craziness that we've experienced the last two times. You showed me this basement space where we sat down at my computer trying to figure out how to hook two microphones up. That was the big key.
We didn't do great at that all the time.
No, didn't do great.
No, for sure.
But just thinking about like, what's your feeling right now, as to where you guys are at, or even catch me up on what's been going on, because I've been a little bit out of touch too, and it just seems like a lot has happened recently, but it's just crazy how far you guys have come too.
Yeah, no, I remember when we got this space down here, I was still teaching at Washington with you and with Jordan, and we just had those 3 rooms that are over there. And it was like
that was an upgrade over your basement.
I legit remember coming down here with my son Knox, and we would bring a soccer ball down before we moved anything in, and we would play one-on-one soccer, kicking it up against the walls. Don't tell Todd, our landlord. Shout out to Todd and Lance. And just thinking, like looking at it and being like, man, how can we fill up this space? And then similar, we're in the other 3 rooms now, which is on the other side of the door that we originally didn't have.
Yeah.
And when we went to New York, this is pre-Rona, right before Rona hit.
I know.
Somebody was looking at this space. Well, we didn't have enough to move over here, but I definitely didn't want to give this up because I felt like we were on like the precipice of blowing up a little bit. And so I would definitely want to make sure we had this. So I remember being terrified going up to Indy to catch our flights to New York because I was going to talk to our now CEO, Aaron, Loomer business partner of mine. And then once we got to New York, I had to talk to the other owner, Chad Amo, about getting the space. And I had no plan of what we were going to move into it. And so I was basically like, look, I don't know what is going in there, but I know that we need it. Like, please trust me. And they were cool and on board. And so we got this space. And then you're actually getting down here at a good time because we moved most of the stuff over to the new space. It was getting pretty wild in here. So we're getting ready to move from MLK. We have a new space. It's like, I don't know, 5,000-6,000 square feet, something like that. So it feels like a big moment, and we're super proud of it. Thankful.
Yeah, it's just that inflection point. Those inflection points are nice to see along the way, because it'll be like hoodie season or certain seasons in the life cycle of a company where you'll see little like not total leveling out, but like points where it's ready for another jump, and it feels like that's what you're at, one of those spots where it's like, all right, didn't really totally level out, but it could like spike up again, and there's just like some stuff on the horizon.
Yeah, the best way I would categorize it is like shit got real in the last year and a half.
Yeah, no doubt.
And so there's like real pressure to deliver now, and we have a great team down here who I love. It was always a dream of mine to have employees. I wanted the pressure of being able to deliver for them, their families, and have other people rely on us. To me, that's always been a huge deal, and we have that. We're growing, it seems like, every day. Now it's about sustaining and taking it to that next level. So I feel good about where we're at and what we have coming, which is part of this Midnight Madness stuff that's getting ready to launch. A lot of hard work that's gone into that, so a lot of exciting stuff, but there's always, the pressure of it all too. So
I know you've launched some big schools recently, like Michigan and Kansas, and I know I'm sure there's more coming. Kentucky, no doubt. Yeah, we just talked to Aminu Timberlake, who was awesome.
That was cool, man.
Yeah, he's super cool. Loved the Kentucky shorts, by the way.
Good. How could you not?
I know. He was like getting his outfit ready. He's like,
awesome.
I got to get some new white shoes to go with these.
Oh, I love that. I love that.
I told him he had the I Hate Christian Leitner shirt on.
Oh, that's funny.
Took a bunch of pictures with people with that on. He's like, next time I'm gonna wear my shorts with it too.
Perfect.
When he goes to a game.
That's hilarious.
But I wanted to see just how you're starting to view the big names, because you're getting like all the quote unquote big names. What's a strategy like now that you have those? Are you still thinking about like the pacing with those, or are you more focused on just how you've always focused on the storytelling, but now is it even more shifting towards that, or is there just diversifying within each one of those schools now that you have them?
Yeah, so it's probably a little bit of both, right? And there's a mix there. Like when you launch a Michigan or you launch a Kentucky or a Kansas, basically every school but like IU and UCLA, who just have the traditional uniforms, you have, call it 40 years worth of history that you can draw back on. And that's for printables too. Obviously our focus has been on the shorts, but we have a lot of different options for them. So bringing it back, and we're starting to do the school days and stuff now, so it's a new way of launching a school that we've had for a while, with new product, flipping colors, restocking some of the popular items. We have one coming up for Cincinnati the week after, which will be big.
We both love Cincinnati.
Yeah, for sure. So that'll be obviously huge for us. So trying to kind of reinvent how you're going to launch these schools, even though you've launched them before, is the big challenge. And then also you have to develop new product categories, which we're going to get into shortly.
We're going to get into it. Let's get into it right now, because I want to talk about Midnight Madness.
99 Madness.
99 Madness. Yeah. Talk me through the specifics of the launch. I got to give a shout out to Andrew. Like the pizza oven.
Yeah,
here.
man.
He like popped out one of the shirts. I'm rocking it with the logo on the front and back. They look great, and just to see that whole process.
We're
going to talk a little bit about that too.
Yeah, we'll get into it.
But that's a wow moment.
Yeah, so obviously limited edition shirt that you have on, and has our moon hoop from last year, and it's got a graphic on the back. Yeah. So those will be available. And we did this last year. This last year was our first time doing this. And it was just a way to kind of create our own madness, our own event, to celebrate college basketball being back and being back in practice. And we did it last year with all the new retro mesh practice shorts.
Oh, yeah.
So we have a whole new crop of those coming in. I can't remember how many schools. I should know.
I saw a bunch.
I'm going to say like 20.
There's a bunch.
Is it 20?
Yeah.
All right, so 20. Thank you for the assist from Matt there.
Real-time fact checking.
Yeah, exactly. So 20 new schools, so we're excited for that. We try to concentrate on the ones that we launched last year, so kind of keeping the old ones in rotation for a year and then swapping them out for new designs. And that's something that we'll continue to do. And then we have some schools that we haven't even launched practice shorts for that are coming later on too, that are already in too. Cool. So the stuff that we're launching during Midnight Madness, we will come back and include more schools through the holiday season and then beyond into the basketball season. So we have those coming. We have the shirt that we already talked about, but we have 2 new product categories that
this is what I mean. Everything's exciting. Look, I love the practice shorts. I think it's been well documented how much I like those. But the new stuff, I think, just because it just expands that universe of storytelling onto different, like a different material, different way to just a different lens. So I think that's what's super exciting about it.
I'm gonna walk you through the quarter zip pullovers first.
Okay, here we go.
And I believe we have 11 schools launching on Midnight Madness, and then we have several more that are coming a little bit after. So they'll come during the college basketball tip-off, which is first or second week of November.
Yep.
But we kind of went through hell and back on these quarter zips, and you were part of it.
Kidding.
Guys, these have been in development for a year and a half, 2 years.
I think so, just about since the start. I mean, the idea was like real early on.
The idea was hatched, and we'd always played with how are we going to we want to do shooting shirts. Like that's where the whole thing came from, right? Like we want to do the old school shooting shirts. Nike used to launch them back in the mid 90s. I used to wear them to school.
Well, I mean, at least the way you told it was that you wanted something that you could wear. Like it really was about wearing to school. Like
right.
Quarters, it was like.
And if I was still a teacher and had to wear this type of shit every day, I would be wearing it every. That was the uniform of choice for me and EJ and yourself and a few others at Washington. But we wanted to figure out We wanted to figure out 2 things: how to do the shooting shirts and then how to do a quarter zip. And we could never figure out how to do them differently.
Yeah.
And then I happened to be laying in bed one morning and just kind of thinking about it. And I picked up the phone, called Aaron and called Chad. And I was like, I think I got it. Like, I think we can do this. And they were like, well, what? And I was like, well, what if we took both and we just combined them and we did a shooting shirt that is a quarter zip? So that's essentially where the idea came from, and this is what we came up with.
I love it. I don't get asked, like no article of my personal clothing gets more questions than if I've got a quarter zip on.
So
it doesn't matter what school they're like. Yeah, they're like UNLV. Tell me about Tarkanian
right.
or UConn. Oh, Ray Allen back in the day.
So shout out to Kyle Muncie, and the reason I chose the UConn one to show first on here was because he was the first one to sign on board. So cool. When we when we hatched the crazy idea, we went straight to him first and just said, hey, is this something you'd be interested in? This is the concept. And he was on board and awesome. So UConn will be a part of that launch. These were worn back in the Ray Allen, Rip Hamilton days. And it's just dope. It's super premium. It's lightweight. It's very athletic fit. Yeah. So if you are between sizes, we encourage you to size up just to get the size that you want. I'm an XL in this. I'm a large usually in most other things. So take that for what it's worth. And like I said, we have 11 schools like this that are launching. We went through hell and back to get these right. We're so freaking excited to finally launch these to the public.
I don't want you to skip over that, because I think that within that is something that you guys have hung your hat on it, and that is like making sure that if you're going to put it out, that you're going to do it right. And that matters, man.
Well, thank you. And we pride ourselves on that. But the first run of them, we didn't really know what we were doing. We sent them to our partners overseas and basically had some samples that we sent, like, can you make this in this style?
Yeah.
And we thought we had the right material. We had, I want to say, $13,000 worth of this stuff printed like months ago, maybe even a year ago now.
A year ago, then.
Yeah, probably was a year ago. So these were slated for probably winter
Christmas
launch of
last year.
2020.
Yeah.
And here we are. But I remember Brivogel wore one and wore it on a car ride, and he like got out of the car after it was done and sent me a picture like, dude, like something's up.
Problem.
And so it was balling up. So these have gone through. We found a factory that wear tests them.
Yeah.
They've been put through the ringer.
Yeah, because it wasn't the look. It was
no. It was
the
perfect.
durability.
It's just
they look perfect.
It just didn't hold up. So we've gone back to the drawing board several times on this, and we're finally to a sustainable material that looks great, that fits great, that feels great, that's that's a high premium item. And legit,
you
like,
will get asked. Where did you get that?
Yeah. So legit, more than excited to put those out there. Like, can't wait.
Yeah.
And I got a lot riding on this because I talked a lot of shit to the other owners that like these are gonna do well.
Me too. You can tell that I love this, and I'm excited for people to get a chance to wear them around, because I can't imagine them not enjoying.
Right. And if you don't see your team on Midnight Madness here shortly, they more than likely are coming in the next few weeks. And if they're not coming in the next few weeks, we will get to them more than likely this season. So there's a lot more quarter zips on the way than just the original 11 that we're launching.
Okay, so you got that out of the way. That's the big one and amazing. But it's not it. Like that's what's kind of been amazing. I was referencing you. I couldn't find the exact reference. Like walking around like one of Apple's labs or walking around the Nike campus trying to like.
That might be blowing it a bit out of proportion.
I know it is, but like because you don't get that opportunity every day. So being able to like peer behind the curtain, and I haven't been down here in a couple of months. So just seeing
we have missed you, man.
How much? Thank you. How much is like just around, and it's just fun because there's always like different stages of things. So trying to piece together like where you guys are at.
Yeah.
What's further down the line, what's coming really soon with the 19.9 Madness.
I usually tell you guys, like, by the time shorts launch or products launch, I'm like sick of them.
I know.
I'm not sick of these.
It's like a band, you already played it.
I'm not sick of these at all because of how much hard work went into them, and how much I think people are gonna enjoy them.
Yeah.
Like the anticipation of launching this stuff is
people's reactions is
at all-time high for us right now too. But it's not the only thing.
Yeah.
It's not the only
thing.
So
hit me with it. What else you got?
So we did the practice shorts last year. We're gonna come back and we're gonna get the practice jerseys to go along with it this year.
That. Reversible.
So these are reversible.
Nice.
That's why I brought my little mic stand. So we go, for lack of a better term, we go like generic 90s design on all the fronts.
Yeah.
So like everybody can relate to that. Practice, when you got your practice pack, it would say like Wrights basketball or whatever. So we did that, and then
now this is a big deal every year too. Like we were super. I don't know if you guys were super excited, but I was always excited to get my practice jersey because our jerseys back in the day were never very comfortable, and they were usually like 5 years old somehow, always 5 years old. Although we did get new uniforms our junior year, which was a big deal, game uniforms. So practice jerseys though were always super excited at the beginning of the year.
I still have a few of mine.
And it looks great. I liked the 19.9 logo on there too, the little logo patch. That looks super cool.
So then every time you flip it and reverse it, it will have a school mark on it. So we go like generic 90s on the front of everything, and then it'll be personalized to each school.
That's great.
On the other side too. And then that tag you were kind of referencing was on the other side. But it's just a premium 99 tag.
It just looks nice signifier, and it looks placed correctly on there to make it look official.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So this is the old school heavy mesh, same type of mesh that we use on our practice shorts.
Yeah.
And so you can match them up if you want to really play into the.
I mean,
thing
you might as well if you're gonna do it. If you're gonna do it right, do it.
Yeah. So, anyways, we're super excited about that. We get asked all the time about jerseys. Doing player jerseys, you'll notice that there's no player names or numbers on these.
Yeah.
A little bit more red tape. We hope that we get there before too long. We get asked about jerseys all the time, and so this was our interpretation of what it was like to or what it would be to recreate something
it's
retro.
a cool step in that direction. You know, you can. It's super functional too. Like you could rock it, you know,
for sure,
a shirt under it if you're going to the game, or if you're a student, you know, you just wear the jersey.
Absolutely, absolutely, and that's some of the
TV like that.
That's the versatility of the quarter zips too.
For sure,
something that can keep you somewhat warm, and be long sleeve, like in the winter when you're running from the neighborhoods to get to Hinkle Fieldhouse and it's freezing, but you don't want to take a big ass heavy coat in there, and you're gonna look great and. You can fit into an alumni room. You can fit into the stands. You can fit into the locker room. You can do whatever you want in those things. So we're super, super excited about both of these. The jerseys are launching on a much smaller scale. To start off, we have three schools, but those are on their way as well. So there'll be more jerseys coming soon.
I'm excited about the jersey, just, you know, shirts and skins season's coming back. So maybe I can talk them into, you know, hey, what about reversible jerseys, guys?
Get some pennies out there. Absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay. That's great. Are there, before I move on, any others you want to hit on? Any new, or you want to save it for the end here?
Well, we got to the point.
That's a lot already.
And our CEO, Aaron, just wanted to keep cramming more shit into this Midnight Madness launch. Shout out to Aaron.
Yeah.
But at some point we kind of had to say, like, no, we have to space this.
Yeah.
So there's two more big announcements coming from 99, but I can't reveal those yet.
Okay. Probably so.
Other than say, I'm wearing one right now.
Okay.
I'm wearing one right now.
Okay.
So we're getting into the cut and sew business, and there'll be more to come on that.
I'll tell you what. Just say, you know, you got the. I don't know. You can talk a little bit about the new space and some of the I guess tech gear or like industrial gear that you guys have that are going to allow you to create more unique things and be more flexible. But just like trying out some of the samples that you had, just thinking about like the process that would have been like for you guys in the past to like send it here, get the sample back, and like just to be able to like, hey, let's see what this looks like. What does this look like? And let's try it on this material and the innovation that can bring too. I think there's some exciting stuff.
It goes back even further than that. So kind of give a shout out here to our investors, JDS, out of New York, and PRC and Matt and Miguel and Joe and those guys up there. We couldn't have done any of this stuff if we hadn't been able to go full time. And so pulling in a team and not only just going full time, but going beyond that. So I mean, we've made numerous hires, and I'll get to those people here shortly. And so that's where the growth starts. We couldn't have done any of this stuff without them. And then obviously the customer deserves a lot of credit too, because they've stuck with us. They've continue to buy stuff. They're great brand ambassadors. We always try to do right by them. And they pay us back with love. And so without them, you know, what we're sitting in never happens, but then that next step never happens either. And then these products never happen. And then the stuff that's coming beyond with the new equipment and all that stuff that you're talking about, none of that ever happens. You know, you started, and if you go back further before that, like there was a lot of work that we put in when we had other jobs that got us to that point. Right. So, we always say it's like 99, there's like 99 2.0, then 99 3.0, and it's kind of the different.
One of my favorite stories ever
ways.
is the pop-up shop in Indy when we did one talking about 99 and just like hearing you guys talk about the travails.
That was in the mall. That's like that seems like ancient history, but you know, looking back, you do it all because you want to succeed and you know what you have. We thought we knew what we had in the brand, and we're starting to realize that, which is really cool. But again, you only have a brand if you have followers. And we have great customers, great followers, great ambassadors. And they're not like famous people. I mean, we have some, right? But not like it's you and me across, you know, every state and just basketball junkies, man.
Right.
So like, it's dope.
Yeah. Well, that's kind of you started out on it, but that's kind of where I wanted to, you know, take us to end, is just talking about the company, because I think that the products are one thing, and that's what allows the company to be, you know, to continue, obviously. But how you make up a company or grow or develop a culture is so interesting to me, because I think that informs the direction that you go in, your ability to make changes. Like, who do you have behind the scenes that allows this stuff to happen? And then what's your approach been to developing that culture? Because I remember one of the first conversations we had too was just about, okay, so far it's like my best friend EJ, my other friends from
my son EJ,
my son, yeah. And then it's like thinking about hiring other people. You have that shift over from these people I've known for a long time and just have a multi-layered relationship to like, here, I'm meeting this guy first time. How do I bring them into this culture and make sure it continues on the same trajectory?
Yeah, that's a really tough question.
Yeah.
Sometimes they just hit you upside the face, and that's Darius, who's in the next room, can probably hear me, and I'll have to knock him down a couple notches after I get out of here. But during his interview, like, I wasn't even supposed to say anything during the interview. Matt was conducted it, and I never shut up. And like when he hung up, I told Matt, I'm like, shut it down. That's our guy. And so sometimes it's very, and we had great candidates for that other than him, but there was something that stood out. And as far as the culture and stuff, like I think it's rooted in Bribe organized relationship, to be honest, because we're small now, right? Like, I think you're going to lose some of that eventually as you get bigger. It won't be based off of that. It'll be based off of like what our company is. But for the short term, like Matt and I, they see how we interact with each other, because we've interacted with each other like that since we were 14, 15 years old. And then it just kind of everybody just kind of absorbs that and goes off of it. So I think the culture becomes pretty natural. But it can always change too. And it can even change for me. And I'm a big culture guy. Like, I love it. But, at some point you get to a point where you're big enough that like you got to figure it out a lot more so than just playing off of friends and being dumbasses down here.
Yeah, but there's a tight but I can see it even a little bit developing. It's funny, you guys probably don't see it, but there's like a tight looseness that you guys have where it's like, when it's time to get to it. And even that, you're like starting to build into different scenarios. So like, you'll start a meeting off with a little like looseness, and then things get tighten up and you get focused on what you need to get done. But that is communicate, like you said, that's communicating the culture.
That's like I attribute that, a lot of that, to Aaron and Chad, because they come from the business world and we don't. Like, we're just a bunch of loose creatives. Yeah. Right. And we're important, but we need that business step, and we're making hires that are very business oriented. I was talking to Brenda, our new hire, this morning, and I was like, we just need this professionalism that's here, because Aaron needs that and Chad needs that to be able to bounce stuff off of, and then have somebody there that's speaking their language instead of talking to me and Matt, who are just idiots and want to make a joke out of everything.
No, I never got that.
It's amazing we made it this far.
Yeah, saw Brenda this morning. Awesome. Immediately I'm like, that's a good one.
Yep, for sure. Brenda, Andrew, all of them. So man. We're getting there.
I got one more for you. Then I'm gonna get you out of here.
All right.
So I see a lot of things as like cycles, like a push and take inventory. So if you think of like kind of a graph going up, so there'll be kind of leveling off, or where you're still going up, but right before a takeoff. I wanted to kind of get your assessment, kind of where you're at, because it also seems like a different time in college basketball in general. The NIL thing we've been tracking really closely. I don't know where that's gonna go, but it does seem like it's shape shifting college basketball, and maybe even like basketball as a whole in some ways. So just kind of, where are you, looking out over the landscape for yourself and just in general, where are you at with all that?
Yeah, as far as NIL goes, we've had several conversations with some very, very high level people. And I know that that's going to be part of the play moving forward, because it can't be ignored. And it's not that we're ignoring it. It's just that we want to figure out the right way to do it. Yeah. And the right way for us, the right way for the people that we're doing it with, et cetera, and the coolest way that we can do it, instead of just pumping stuff out to pump stuff out, which is fine, right? Because the student athletes are getting paid off of it, and it's great and all that stuff. So we always have to keep our focus on that. The NFT stuff is going wild right now.
And we talked about that like a year ago. And
we've had several conversations again with high level people about potentially doing some stuff there and how that's going to work, and we're super excited about it. I understand it a little bit more. I was pretty old school about it at the beginning. So yeah, I mean, you constantly have to keep your eye to the future. In a little, in some sense too, we're going to get into the fashion wear a little bit more too, potentially. And so that'll be interesting to see how we evolve as a company there as well. So a lot of stuff on the horizon, plus new product categories. And,
no kidding. Not that we haven't hit on
a lot of stuff coming up.
So you feel like you're on the verge of like another sharp increase. It sounds like. Or hopeful.
You're hopeful.
You always,
don't know.
You get. I think that's natural as any person. You always want to just like hope for success.
Sure.
Even though you feel in a good place because
a lot of that is riding on the two products that we talked about in Midnight Madness, but we feel good about it. We appreciate those of you that are still listening to us that stayed up late with us tonight, and we're ready to get after it, man.
Yep. All right, man.
Well, I want to end this by saying I knew how to get to it. I told you I'd do this, but I want to say thanks to you, to the Chucker, to Aaron, Chad, to my team here, Rival TP, Darius, EJ, Seth, newcomers, Andrew, who we mentioned earlier, and Brenda. Getting to this point,
no doubt,
it's just been it's been awesome, and we're gonna be moving into the new space, and a part of us kind of like dies here,
right?
And like you and I, like you were talking about earlier, sitting over in that room over there, not even knowing how to turn the mics on, to where we're at now, and again, we're not like something crazy huge, but like it's getting there, and
the trajectory feels right,
right.
That's cool.
And so I'm just super appreciative of everybody that I named. Obviously of all our customers who have supported us too, and when we take the last piece, out of here, like, we'll look back with some super fine memories
for sure, man.
But hopefully new ones coming,
Oh, there are. Turning the page in the best way possible.
But you guys have worked your ass off for free, for nothing, and I appreciate it.
Part of it's just like being a part of, you always think about like what was it like to be a part of something, cool at the beginning. Name any company you want to, but it has been an honor to just kind of live vicariously through that. I've never been like directly involved in the basketball world in the way, and to see, one of my friends get to succeed in that area too has been just super awesome. And to get to know everybody else down here has been just like a real treat for me. And I mean, to say nothing of how it helped through the pandemic and all that to sustain me in a positive way. Just something, a welcome distraction.
I told you when I called you, I said we got to do this pod to kick off Midnight Madness. I was like, I will 100% cry at the end as we shut this place down. And I actually thought that we would have it all stripped down by now, but they're just laying the carpet.
I put a box in here today, so that we could sit.
And this is like no representation of all the shit that used to be in here. But yeah, they're putting carpet and paint today, or we would have this all stripped down. So like it was gonna be like a Fresh Prince moment where he like walks back in the house and it's all like. So I knew this was coming. I apologize.
You need to put that photo on that. We could you could tag it at the end of this.
Yeah. Because we went through and shot it because it was so cramped. But anyways, Midnight Madness getting ready to kick off. I appreciate you. I love you. I love what you've done with the pod. Like, I'm happy to be a part of it, and I'm happy you're a part of it.
We'll get you on more episodes when you find some time.
Yeah, I'm ready. I miss being on here, man. So, anyways, Midnight Madness. Go grab the stuff. Give us feedback. Tell us what you like. And yeah, it's time to kick it off, man.
All right, man.
All right, thanks.
Peace.